All right, we're back with more on the holidays and saving and spending money. Janae Adams from Debt Sucks University and Tom Matthews, a certified financial educator, are our experts here today. All right, Janae, this one's a tough one. What do you do about teenagers who only want name brand clothes?
Yeah, so that used to be me, and so I was able to, really relate to it. And one thing my mom told me, she was saying that don't let people get to the point that they care more about what you're wearing than they care about you as a person. And that really stuck with me. And I actually had an incident like that in college. So I would tell this parent, first and foremost, you can't say no. It is your money. And if they want to work for it, they can work for it and buy it themselves. But definitely let them know it's not about the clothes, it's about the person that they are. And a lot of times, young people will understand that.
All right, Tom, this person is asking, do I need to keep my credit card open after I have it paid off?
Well, I think when you look at how it affects your credit score, it's charging and paying off that makes it go up. And so that's a good thing, unless it's such a temptation that you might run it up that you can't help yourself.
Okay. This next question is it good to charge everything if you can pay off the balance every single month? Janae. I know, from the girl who doesn't want you to use credit cards, but, and we'll let both of you answer. So both of you, yes, I mean, it's good to have two different schools of thought.
Yeah. So once again with me, I don't use credit cards, but definitely people have used them to, and they pay them off at the end of the month so they can get points and so forth. But don't get to a point that you may lose, end up losing your job and it becomes a crutch like that last question, because a lot of times it can be just a snowball effect right down the hill of debt. So that I would just say be careful with that train of thought, definitely.
All right, Tom, what do you have to add on that one?
I think the habit of paying it off is as important as the credit. So when you get in the habit, like you were talking about your own, when you pay it off every single month, it's not an option not to, because you want to keep the string going. You want to make sure every single month you paid that off. And of course, that shows up when people can see it, so it's really good.
If you make sure that you're doing that and you're paying it off. Okay. So, Janae, this person says, I've been paying on, I haven't been paying on my federal student loans because of the pandemic, but I will start paying the minimum next month. Will it start impacting my credit score?
No, what the Department of Education is trying to do is make sure that doesn't happen. So the person who's asking this question needs to really stay on top of the Department of Education and the person who has that federal student loan to make sure that because these payments have been paid thanks to the Department of Education, that it doesn't come back looking like missed payments. So it's up to that person that's asking this question to stay on top of them, but it shouldn't affect your credit at all.
All right. Is there anything else we need to know about student loans? Because I know you were bringing this to our attention quite often.
Yeah, so definitely for those of you who work in the public sector, so you work in nonprofits, make sure if you have been a part of the public service loan forgiveness program in the past, that they are being really generous right now and they're forgiving loans. I know a friend of mine who's a teacher, she just got $45,000 forgiven last week. So this is something that's really happening right now. Not a lot of news coverage around it, so you have to stay on top of it yourself.
So you should call your loan operator to see if that's possible.
Yeah, definitely talk to the Department of Education. That's who you need to talk to, and go to their website and see if your loan qualifies and then if your employer qualifies. A lot of people who had got denied in the past in 2017, now they're seeing it record being forgiven. I mean, billions.
Wow.
So definitely it's something to look into.
Worth asking. All right. Hey, Tom, this person says, I'm retired and I'm going to go on Medicare in March. I have several credit cards, but I also have savings bonds. Would it be helpful to use them to pay off my debt? Will it help me in Social Security and what I have to pay for Medicare?
Wow, that's a complex one. That would be something I would suggest that whoever his financial professional is, he sit down with and strategize. It's really an individual thing, and to look at the age of his accounts and what he's trying to accomplish, it really takes a close look.
Okay. So what about the schools of thought of how you should be paying off debt? So if you have several credit cards, some have really big balances, some have smaller balances. How should you go about attacking those payments?
Well, I would say you should look at the rate you're being charged and as well as the balance. And if you got one that's a little higher rate, maybe you think about paying that one sooner, just to obviously pay less in interest.
And Janae, I know we've talked about the snowball effect, right? Like you start the smaller ones sometimes. That can work.
Yeah, and I like that train of thought around the snowball. Just because the paying a smaller one helps people get encouraged to keep going. You always just need a small win going forward. And so I get to the point that I want you to beat the interest rate. So you ended up paying extra over and over again, that you actually get ahead of the interest rate and pay more to the principal each and every time.
This person says, I rent, but I want to save for a house. What is the best way? It's such a huge amount of money.
It is a lot of money, definitely, but I would say break down the steps into little chunks. So understanding what that house that you want to have, what is the price of it, and then look at how do I get the 10 to 20% down payment, and then start to look at where can I find extra money in my budget. Let's start cutting some things back, bringing an extra $100 or $200, and go from there and bringing the extra money.
Right, and then that snowballs when you get 100 or 200. Thank you, both of you, for answering our questions. We so appreciate it. If you missed anything, maybe you want to recap it with maybe someone from your family or so, you can always go to the Two Wants to Know segment. Oh, that's right, we do have one more segment. We'll be right back.